Thank you. So looking at this chart here, I'll just walk through it there. If you have questions, please stop me. Don't hesitate to ask. The first four columns show you the actual audited numbers, 15, 16, 17, and what the auditor was basically saying was gonna be probably your audit. So I put that as projected 18, but it's probably an unaudited 18. So looking at, let's just look at 2018 there. You'll see your revenues, your net revenues would be, he had said $9,754,745. Your operating expenses are $8,664. You got depreciation and amortization of $250,000. And I think y'all are probably familiar with that, but that basically, if you buy a capital asset, a building, over time you depreciate that down until it basically runs out of its useful life. And so that represents an expense, but it may not represent a cash expense. It may not be a cash cost to you. There's probably some maintenance that you pay on that. And then other expenses are, I think, some accruals that he had listed on his sheet there that were due to be paid. And so that leaves you your total operating expenses, net operating revenues, over expenses would be $773,337. So that's what in corporate world you call net profit. That's basically what in the nonprofit world is it's a net revenues over expenses. So for 18, that shows what you got there for this year. Going down a little further, I do what's called a cash flow analysis. When a bond holder wants to buy the bonds of the county, wants to buy the bonds of the nursing home, they will look to your ability to pay on a cash basis. So can you make good on your payments when they come due? So on the $773,000 income, plus the depreciation, which represented a non-cash expense, you have $1,023,365 in 2018 to make your debt service payments. So your debt service payments start here. This is where we got the cottages of $170,000 principal in 18, $85,000 interest, and then $115,000 on the $5 million that was issued in 2017. So that represents your total principal and interest on both bond issues, all the debt of the nursing home, and then that total is debt service payments. So I take your basically your profit over your debt service, and that gives me a coverage. And so you want to see at an absolute minimum a 1 times coverage. You won't, if you go below 1 times, you probably can't make your debt service payment. So that's what this year at a 2.76 for this year.
Now, with that being said, this is just revenue generated. This is not current CD money or anything in there.
Not any of that in there. That's right. Purely operating on an annual basis.
How many beds?
This is with only your cottages and your existing operations. This doesn't figure in any new beds yet. Now I'm gonna go into the next column and you'll see where I start to add on the beds there.
Let me clarify something first. We're not adding beds.
No,
Okay.
that.
So we're licensed for 125.
We're just.
So this 2018 was probably an average census of 105. So that's.
This is census based.
Yeah.
The actual numbers are census based.
Okay, so that's existing only.
Now that,
in 2018.
Part of that 125 can count for the portion for the depreciation where you're getting there for the profit side of it.
That's right.
But we will never have 125. We haven't in the last.
Okay, as far as 100% occupancy.
Right.
Okay.
We've never had it since I've been on here. Have you had 125?
We've been 95% occupied.
Right, but not.
Yeah.
Not to, yeah. But that's been a while back.
So this is probably a pretty good, the 105 is probably a pretty good average, you think? Okay. So 2019, I figured, obviously you hadn't started your construction on your new project. No new changes here other than this is basically a budgeted, your census is down just slightly, but not much. And so that's, if you see, that's about the same revenues as 2018 for 2019. And so we're working our way down, of course, operating expenses, the depreciation, total expenses, 9,280,000, leaves net operating revenues after expenses of 450,484. So, you'll see there as you come down, net profit 450,484, depreciation, cash flow basis, 700,000 available for cash flow for 2019. With your debt service payments on the actual cottage debt service and the new debt service, you see that jumps up to 300,000. So that's principal and interest on the new bonds, and it's actually a little bit less than that. It's around 295,000, but I just did 300 to keep it simple. And then you see your debt service payments total of 557,506, and your coverage goes to a 1.26. So that is, I think, a pretty conservative estimate there, but you don't have a lot of room below that to go any further. So you really need to maintain your finances for 19 at or above where you were in 18. So that's the 19 picture. I'll stop there. If y'all have questions, and then next we'll jump in